What is going on, guys? A big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta. You're here with D-Boy and we are back with more Spike Weather reveals for you guys. So this set have been going so fast and it's amazing because we could already build a Spike Weather deck. We could already build our decks. And there have been like 3 reveals each day for most of the clans, and that's just insane how fast they're going through this. But the set will also be on the 30th of October, so that's also very fast and upcoming. And then they will jump, of course, into the new set. So this set features Spike Rose, Tachikaze, Maple, and Shadow Polling being the clan who's taking the 2 VRs. And then we have Spike Rose, which is the clan who's taking 1 less triple R. Which is kind of interesting because the cards that we get as rares and double rares are actually so good that they should have been triple Rs as well. So that's a good thing, especially for me, because I build a lot of Spike of the decks, and it's good to have the cards being cheaper. But also the amount of SPs we will get in SP pack would still be the same. Maybe some reprints, we don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Alright, so if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like our videos, and let us know in the comment section below which of the cards of today's reveal is your favorite for Spike Brothers, because these cards actually do make a difference in different formats. But I think what your guys' answer is, we'll have to wait and see. At the end of the video, we'll also show you guys how the set looks like for Spike Brothers and how much of the rares, double rares, and everything we will get to get into the 22 card, which we think is the amount of cards the Spike Brothers will get, as it's the same in the past and in the other booster boxes. Alright, so let's jump into the first card. We have Acrobat Verdict. Acrobat Verdict is a card that we expected to get, and we didn't exactly know what his first ability would have been, but also I've guessed that in the last video. And it's easy because pretty much he have been our Stride folder in the past, and now he will be the grade 3 searcher. So we knew one of the triple Rs will be an Acrobat Bird. And because the clan has only 2 triple Rs in this set, this means that this card needs to be very good, because it's another card that you want to play. Also another card that you will get in SP. So his first ability is a Vanguard that was called by a card ability. This unit gets the extra 5k. As I said, I've called this already in the last video because it's very easy. It's the easiest they could have done. Just by superior calling, you get the extra 5k. His second ability is, of course, when he's placed from hand, which is very important, especially for spikes. Then you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, you get a grade 3 to your hand if there is a grade 3 in them, and then you discard a card from your hand. This is very good, especially by discarding the quick shield. If we play extra draws, discarding those. This card is also very good in premium because it gives you more consistency to the deck, especially if you play Jelly Beans. It's another card that could hit for 13 or could boost for 13, which is also good. Especially it's a continuous ability, so you always get that 5k even if you call it during the battle phase. Of course, if you do that, if you superior call it, you will not get his second ability, but that's okay if you're going just for the power. So it's a very good card in each clan getting it, and his first ability is also not that hard to get off. So what you want to do in standard is, of course, he helps you out to get the right grade 3 to your hand. If you already have the rising, you ride into it, then you would rather have the other grade 3s that you want to target with rising ability, and this card gives you that, so that's pretty good. If you play it in premium and if you play it in a turbo deck especially, this card does help you to get into the Jelly Beans if you want to search your grade 3s, but you could also search you the right grade 3 that you want to ride into if you want to have something that gains force, which is not the Jelly Beans. In the Icoro deck, he does help as well, because if you want to ride into Rising to have Vermios ready right away, it's another card that actually does a lot, especially for a clan like Sparklers who loves their consistency. We also have the Mega Trainer in Premium, who could always search this card out if you're really having trouble with getting the right grade 3 to your hand and you don't want to GSS and stuff like that. Because he doesn't really require you to have a grade 3 in your hand already. He only requires you to discard a grade 3 from hand. Alright, next card we have is the card that definitely deserves to be a double R or triple R. And I think because Sparkles is getting only 2 double Rs, then this is one of the cards that should have been, I mean, 2 triple Rs. This is one of the cards that normally should have been a double R, but then get demoted to be a rare because they could not fit it into the double R section. This is an amazing card that works in premium and standard. It's a card that actually does so much for the clan, and especially for this deck. I've talked about this in the last video as well, where I said Spikebuzz is missing a grade 2, and that grade 2 should be a Windkiller Misery or an Axe Diver, but we actually get a new card, which is a branch Sprut. And the thing with this card is, as I said, it puts so much work that it's really effective. So what he does is when this card attacks a Vanguard, it needs to attack the Vanguard. You pay the cost, which is putting a normal unit from your drop zone back to the bottom of your deck. And that's not a cost, that's a plus. And then, of course, it works on Vanguard. And then until the end of the battle, your opponent's units must intercept. This is very important. Some of the guys on Facebook or they explaining the card think that it said your opponent cannot intercept, but what he does is he said your opponent must intercept, and then at the end of the battle this card goes into your soul and you draw a card. Okay, let's go back and explain the card. There are 3 important factors about this card. First of all, its cost. Its cost said you have to return a normal units from your drop zone back to the bottom of your deck. So let's talk standard first and then go back and talk about premium. So that would mean that there is no reason to play Wonder Boy anymore if you play this card as 4, because you could still put the Juggernaut, whatever you want to put back to your deck, that grade 3s that you want to search out again, put them to the bottom of your deck, and then you have them there so you could recall them when needed. Second part of the ability is that he said that your opponent must intercept. Talking about standard first. Intercepting means that your opponent, you retire your opponent front row if they could intercept. Playing against an Excel clan, this is crazy, because just by attacking the Vanguard, even if this card does not hit, your opponent would still have to intercept with everything. This card also works great with cards like Bull Spike, because if you do this, then your opponent would have to guard anyway. They're losing their interceptors anyway, so why not just guard it, and then you get the skill of Bull Spike off, which is just to retire something else and draw, which means you retire 3 cards during this turn, and that's crazy. Your opponent must intercept is a skill that is so like Spike, like the same as Mayhem Tiger. When his skill hits in, people got crazy. This is another card that that people would read and read again and not understand and call a judge and read again and still think it's insane. So that's one of the part of the skill that makes this card amazingly good. But the third part of the skill is also something that I have been searching for when I took out the Spike Monster out of the standard deck while I was testing it. Because you need cards that leave an open regular circle behind them, especially if you play against clans like Narukami or Tiger, where they would retire your front row anyway. But also the draw power and the soul charge, because it's good to have this combined with cards like Bull Spike, where you have only 1 soul, and then you move the markers to this card, you attack with it, and then you put this card into your soul, so you could move the markers again. But he also gives you a card. So much good things about this card that I don't understand how this card is not a triple R. This should have been at least a double R or a triple R. This cannot be a rare. This is just insane. But yeah, being a rare is good. I mean, we have our Bracky, which have been a rare, and he never left our deck as a standard deck. It doesn't matter what standard deck you build, Bracky was always there. So this is actually like Bracky, is just like in there, and we will have his 4 copies of him in the deck. So looking at the grade 2 lineup, this card would replace the Spike Bouncer. You would take it out, doesn't cost a Counter Blast, which means that your grade 2s and grade 1 could abuse those Counter Blasts, and of course your Cyclone as well. And this is another card that of course you could not restand with Cyclone, but he will take out the Interceptors. He would force your opponent to guard and he would just leave an empty regular circle behind him and draws you a card. So yeah, yes, this card is just too good. But if we talk about this card in premium, then of course there are different cards that we talk about. If we talk about the GB8 build, this by the first part of the ability, let's talk about that first. The first part of the ability means that when you play against clans that play Protect 2, they would lose their interceptors by this card attacks, and you would force them into guarding that attack, which is good. The second thing is, if you play against DP and they have their grade 3s in the front row that could intercept for a crazy amount of power, they would lose those as well in one attack, so that's another very good thing. If we talk about the second part of the ability, that's, or let's say the cost, the first part of the ability, that they say, yo, you have to put a normal unit back to the bottom of your deck, then we know cards like Wonder Boy and Big Blow Ted. So let's talk about all of them. Wonder Boy and Big Blow Ted. We know that we play those, especially in the GB8 deck, because we want to put those normal units back to our deck. And then we play cards like Spike Monster, who could go to your soul to give you an extra draw, which means another attack with the GB8. So this card have those two, like the second part of the Spike Monster ability and Big Blow Ted in one, which is crazy good. So that's one of the things that makes this card also very good in premium. But even more, we will not get too much into it, but even more, there are so much things about this card in standard and in premium that makes so good. I would not say that this card would replace Spike Bouncer, because Spike Bouncer is a +2 during your GB8 turn, because on plays, counter blast, soul blast, and you still put something on the field and then he goes to your soul to draw. But he will definitely be a card that you add to your GB8 deck, which means that we will play even in the GB8 12 grade 2s, which is kind of insane, because you just have Detonate Barrel, you have Spike Bouncer, and you have this new card, and all of those are too good not to play, right? And last but not least, we have our Mega Referee. This is another, let's say, vanilla grade 1 that have a 15k shield and a 7k power. People saying, well, you could use this card with Zazan. Yes, of course, because now if you take out your Wonder Boys and your Big Blow Ted because of the grade 2, then why not? And then you add even more shield to the GB8 deck. And we already have the Created Mental, who has 8k body and 15k shield. But I think that I would maybe like this card even more, because being a 7k means that you could hit below your opponent Vanguard if they are in 8k. And that's better than hitting them. So that's one of the things that make this card actually really good and interesting to play in the deck as well. And yeah, as I said, because of this card, you could also now play more vanillas, because you could take out your Big Blow Ted and Wonder Boys and play just the grade 2, who could put the Spike Monsters, whatever you want from the from your drop zone back to your bottom of the deck. And one of the most interesting things about that grade 2 is that he also puts grade 1s, because Wonder Boy and Big Blow Ted do not put a grade 1 into your deck. And with this, you could recycle cards like Wonder Boy, like Big Blow Ted, but also cards like Tier, like Sazon, those cards that you never could have recycled. You could put all of those now back to the bottom of your deck by playing this new grade 2. So all in all, really good day for Spike Brothers to have all of these. Now let's talk about how would the set look like. So for the VRs, we have Exceptional Expertise Rising Nova, right, as being our VR, which we have only one. And then for the triple Rs, as you can see on the screen, we have one less, because Tachikaze Mega Colony being up there. I didn't expect Mega Colony to have the last triple R, because I thought that Mega Colony already got their Dark Phase being a double rare, and it doesn't really make sense for them to have another grade 3. But it looks like they will, and that's good for the Mega Colony players. I mean, they already get not much support as the same in Spike and Tachikaze, so I really don't mind. but it does make now sense that some of these double rares and rares are so good that they should have been more than the double rares and rare. So when we get to our double rare, then we have, of course, Liar Lips being a standard one, and then they add in Ambush Dexter and then Spiking Cyclone, right? So we have all of those as being 3 copies of the 3 of the double rares. And then when we got into the rares, this is also something that I did not expect, because if the clan, as in the past, Spike was already got 22 cards in each set, so in this set should have been the same, or should be the same. And also if you look at the Blazing sets, like for Kagero, Ending Joker, and OTT and DP, if you look at the other set, like for the set that came after that, with Dark Irregulars and Pale Moon and stuff, then also each clan get 22 cards. So this should be the same in this booster box. And having 11 commons would mean that we would have 5 rares, and that would mean that the card that have the number 38 should also be a card for Spike, but that would mean it should be another grade 3, which is kind of strange if you get 2 different grade 3s. I do understand that Rising Nova targets grade 3s, but still, I expected us to have grade 2s, more grade 2s, as we're still waiting for Axe Diver and Windkiller Misery if they want to reprint those, because we saw Axe Diver in the anime, so it doesn't make any sense if Axe Diver sat in the anime, because it's a card that came from G, and G does not exist in this universe. So Axe Diver have to be in this set. It doesn't make any sense. If maybe it comes later on in another set, that could be, but it's very strange that it's not in this set. And then we have, of course, Windkiller Misery, which is a card that I expect as well, because all of those Umbra clones are coming back. And again, it doesn't really make any sense if she does not come back, but we don't know. In the grade 2 lineup, though, we do have a place for a grade 2, maybe even 2 grade 2s. So will Windkiller Misery and Axe Diver be commons? No. I mean, if a card like Branch is a rare, and with his ability, then sure, I mean, those 2 could be commons. I don't know, but that's the thing. We have 1VR, 2 triple Rs, 3 double Rs, 5 rares, and 11 commons. And normally we should have 1 more triple R and 10 commons, and that's not the case. And then for the cards that we could expect a grade 3, and we could expect a grade 2 and a grade 1, and I think that's it. 1 grade 3, 1 grade 2, and 1 grade 1, and that should be it. 1 common grade 1, 1 common grade 2, and then 1 rare grade 3. That should be the case. And that's actually it about this video. I would like to thank you all for watching. Before we get into the end of the video, we also have one small thing as an extra bonus for the people that waited till this moment to check the video, and that's the SP pack. So for people that love SPs and love Spike, this is actually a very interesting topic, as it's for me as well, is what will the SP pack be for Spike Brothers? It's safe to say that Rising Nova will be one of the SPs, and then also the other triple Rs of the set, as an Acrobat, Verdi, and Rona. And so those 3 will be in the SP pack. The other 2 cards that they could add to the SP packs is being our double rares, but not Liar Lips, because Liar Lips should not be in the SP pack. If you look at the let's say the 2 sets before this, because only the Try 3 set had the heal, and I think also the critical in the SP pack, but I'm not sure. I know for sure the heal, but I don't know for sure the critical. So if they will add the double rares, then it would be like this, and then of course you add the starter and you add the quick shield, the Spike with the quick shield. So this should be the SP pack. If they choose to not add Dexter or Cyclone to the SP pack, then the card that they could reprint and add to the SP pack is of course our Bull Spike. Because Bull Spike is a card that you do need to play in this set, and as they did for Dark Irregulars, they reprinted Number of Terror being an SP, they could do the same thing for Bull Spike. And I would love it if Bull Spike would be in the SP pack. Why is that? Because Rising Nova is a VR and an SP, and Cyclone is a double R and could be an SP. But the thing about Bull Spike is that he is a VR and an SVR, which means that if you want to play a high rarity deck, then the SVR of Bull Spike would not fit into the deck as how the deck looked like, because it would be the only one SVR in the whole deck. So if it would be an SP and Cyclone will also be an SP, that would mean that your complete grade 3 lineup will be SPs, and the only card that you would add to the deck maybe is Juggernaut, and Juggernaut being an original rare, he fits that as well. So that's one of the things that I hope that they will reprint the Bull Spike, and then they will also add the Cyclone to the SP pack, and then you have all of those, and maybe take out Dexter, I don't know. Other card that we could see is also of course the PG, or of course the Lyre Lips as being let's say the critical trigger, the Sentinel crit for spikes. I don't think that they will add that. Maybe they will add PG, but I don't think so, as I also don't think so that they will add the heal. The card that I would also love to see in SP is of course Branch, because Branch is an amazing card and deserves to be more than a rare. So if this would be an SP, then you could add those to the deck as well, which would look also very nice with the deck. But also it doesn't matter if it's just a rare, because Bracky is also just a rare, and we never complain about that, because even me, I run out of Brackies because I have a lot of decks that I play. The card that I would not want to see in SP pack is Adelaide. I know that you guys would like it, and you guys would say, well, this would be fun, but nah, it just doesn't fit the whole way that the deck looks like. We don't really have in full art triggers or shiny triggers, because we don't have trial decks, so it doesn't really make a sense to have one trigger being in SP and all the others are not. Merlin of course always had been a double rare, now even a triple rare, but also a card that I don't want to see in SP. So that's my thoughts about the SP pack, and that's it for the bonus of this video. Alright, so thank you all for watching, thank you for the love, the support that you give to our channel, thank you for joining us on Facebook as well. That's amazing, because we have a bunch of friends there. I think we almost reached the thousands of friends on Facebook, which is a lot. So that's all thanks to you guys. Thanks for the support, as we always say. So that's it. Thank you guys. Till next time.